These three stories come from people who swear they're true. Judge for yourself if they're nightmares or reality. Our first story comes from a man named Jim. Hello, my name is Jim. The story I'm about to tell you is the first truly mysterious experience of my life. It happened back in 2008, when I was 8 years old, staying at my grandmother's house. Late one night, I was up watching cartoons long after everyone else was asleep. I remember glancing toward the hallway and noticing something strange. The bathroom door was slightly ajar, and inside the darkness, I could just make out a piece of white cloth swaying back and forth. At first, I assumed it was just a towel hanging on the door. But then I thought, why would it be moving like that? There was no breeze. I tried to ignore it, but the image stuck in my head. A little later, when it was time for bed, I turned off the lights in the living room. As my eyes adjusted to the dark, I saw it again. The white cloth was still swaying through the crack of the bathroom door. But this time, I noticed something else. Something that made my heart stop. Peeking out from under the cloth was a Blackfoot. The skin was so dry and cracked it looked completely lifeless, like it belonged to a corpse. I was terrified. I bolted to my grandmother's room and shook her awake, trying to explain what I saw. She just mumbled that I was seeing things and told me to go back to bed. That night, sleep was impossible. I kept my eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. And then I saw a shadow moving across it. It wasn't a normal shadow from a tree branch outside. It was walking, gliding across the ceiling as if it had a body of its own. I hid under the covers until sunrise. The next morning, I cautiously went to check the bathroom. It was empty. There was no towel, no cloth, and absolutely no trace of what I had seen. Even now, all these years later, I still ask myself the same question. Whose foot was that? Our second story is about a terrifying encounter in a dark yard. I was 10 years old when this happened. My father had passed away, and my grandmother adopted me. We lived in an old house where the kitchen and bathroom were in separate buildings outside. To get to them at night, you had to walk across a dark open yard. One evening, around 10 p.m., my grandmother asked me to help her fill some water jugs from the kitchen. I stepped outside, but she was nowhere in sight. I figured she had already started walking, but I wasn't sure which path she took. I decided to go right, and that's when I saw him. Lying on the ground beside a large tree was a tall man. He was shaking uncontrollably, almost like he was having a seizure. I froze, not knowing what to do. Then he spoke in a deep, slow voice. He called my name. My blood ran cold. How did he know my name? Before I could process it, he started throwing small stones at me, one after another. They weren't thrown hard enough to hurt, just little taps to make me panic. And it worked. I turned and ran as fast as I could to my aunt's house nearby. I burst in, gasping for air, and told her what happened. She looked confused and told me my grandmother had been in the kitchen the whole time. Weeks went by, and I finally got the courage to tell my grandmother what I saw that night. Her face went pale, and she froze. She insisted that no one else had been in the yard, and that it might have been an evil spirit trying to lure me away. But I still wonder, can a ghost throw stones? And if that was a real person, How did he know my name? And what did he want? I never got an answer. Our final story, from a woman named Pamela, is a chilling reminder that sometimes the darkness gets inside. My name is Pamela. I grew up in Idaho with my father, and he had a strange habit. He always slept with the lights on. He never explained why, but one night, we all found out. He was asleep in his bed when he felt a hand suddenly grab his leg. He said the touch was all wrong, completely unnatural. It slowly traced the shape of his foot, as if deliberately trying to wake him up. When he finally forced his eyes open, he froze in sheer terror. Sitting on his chest was a black cat, but this wasn't an ordinary cat. Its face was twisted into a malicious, almost human-like expression, and it was staring straight at him. The moment their eyes met, the cat leaped off his chest, darted into a corner of the room, and vanished straight into the wall. He was so terrified that he ran to me and my brother's room, begging us to stay awake with him for the rest of the night. For weeks afterward, he was convinced the presence would return. He wasn't wrong. A short time later, both my brother and I started seeing a shadowy figure in the house. It was about 3 to 4 feet tall, and the feeling of dread it brought was overwhelming. We never knew what it was, but we knew it wasn't friendly. Thanks for listening to these unsettling true stories. If you have a story of your own, share it in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chills. Stay safe out there.